Hello everyone, myself Sneha Shah from LG Institute of Engineering and Technology from the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Today I will explain you about some more properties of discrete time Fourier transform from the subject of digital signal processing. In the last session I had explained you some of the properties of DTFT, which are linearity, time shifting, frequency shifting, differentiation, Parseval's theorem, right? Now the next property is convolution theorem. What is convolution theorem? Convolution theorem says that if we write down statement for this, then we can say that if we are convolving two sequences x1 of n and x2 of n in the time domain, so this one is convolution, then corresponding to its difference DTFT means discrete time Fourier transform will representing as the multiplication of these two terms in the frequency domain. So when we will representing this x1 of n in terms of frequency domain by using DTFT of it will representing x1 of omega, right? So if we will taking x1 of n DTFT, then it will convert into x1 of omega, and x2 of n's DTFT is x2 of omega. Then the convolution of these two will gives you the corresponding multiplication of these two term in the frequency domain. So when we will representing it in terms of frequency domain means when we will taking discrete time Fourier transform of these two term, then it will gives you the multiplication of this x1 of omega with x2 of omega. Now if we want to prove this, we will start the proof by using the equation of DTFT of x of n. When we will taking DTFT of x of n, it will gives you the answer of x of omega, and the equation of it equals to summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n e raised to minus j omega n. Now we want to find out DTFT of this term. So instead of this x of n, I will write DTFT of x1 of n with x2 of n. So instead of this x of n, I will put this value. So the next term will become summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x1 of n convolve with x2 of n e raised to minus j omega n. Now this convolution will say that if we writing the equation of this term, then we can say that linear convolution is representing as x1 of n convolve with x2 of n is equals to summation of first sequence as it is means x1 is as it is but with dummy variable k. The second sequence is folded means instead of k we will take minus k, then shifted means plus n, then the multiplication, and at last we will take summation. Now in this summation is with respect to this variable k. For entire range, so we will take summation of k equals to minus infinite to infinite x1 of k into x2 of n minus k. Now we will put this value in this equation. So instead of x1 of n convolve with x2 of n, we will put this value in this equation. So we can find out the value of DTFT of this term. And after simplification, we have to derive it in this format. So when we will taking DTFT of x1 of n convolve with x2 of n, then it will gives you the term as summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite. Instead of this, we will put its equation as summation k equals to minus infinite to infinite x1 of k, x2 of n minus k, and e raised to minus j omega n term. Now you know the next rule as when the two summations will be there, we will rearrange the order of this. So this summation will comes first. So summation k equals to minus infinite to infinite, we will write it first, and then we will write summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite part, right? Now all the terms with n will comes over here, other than it comes over here. So x1 of k, it has not a single value of n, so it will constant with respect to this, so it will return over here x1 of k. Now the next term is x2 of n minus k. In this n is there, so I will write x2 of n minus k. In this also n is there, so I will write e raised to minus j omega n in this summation. Now the next rule we will applying this. In the bracket any term will be there, we will take another variable for that. So let we are taking n minus k equals to any variable like n. So if I am taking n minus k equals to m, then we want to find out the value of n. So from this we will finding the value of n. So k comes over here, so n equals to m plus k. Now if we will taking n equals to range of n equals to minus infinite, so minus infinite minus k, it means minus infinite. So the value of m equals to minus infinite, and when we will taking n equals to infinite, so infinite minus k, it will gives you the answer of infinite. So the value of m equals to infinite. Now in this equation we will put all this term. So over here n minus k will becomes m. Instead of n we will put m plus k, or instead of n we will put m equals to minus infinite to infinite. So the next term will becomes like this. dtft of x1 of n convolve with x2 of n, it will gives you summation k equals to minus infinite to infinite x1 of k, and over here we will write down summation m equals to minus infinite to infinite x2 of n e raised to minus j omega m plus k. So I will write that term over here, e raised to minus j omega m plus k. Now if we separating this term, it will representing like e raised to minus j omega n into e raised to minus j omega k, right? And this all the terms will remain as it is. Summation k equals to minus infinite to infinite x1 of k, summation m equals to minus infinite to infinite x2 of m. Now as we had taken this summation is with respect to m, so this term has not a single term of m, so this will consider as constant, so it will be outside of this summation. So I will rearranging this as summation k equals to minus infinite to infinite x1 of k e raised to minus j omega k, summation of m equals to minus infinite to infinite x2 of m e raised to minus j omega m. Instead of this k and m, if we will consider it as n, then this term will representing as dtft of x1 of n. It means x1 of omega, and this second term will representing as dtft of x2 sequence. So instead of that we will write x2 of omega. So from this term we can say that when we will convolving two sequences in the time domain, then corresponding to it in the frequency domain, multiplication of that two sequences. So this is the convolution theorem. Now the next theorem is windowing theorem or modulation theorem. First of all, what is windowing or modulation theorem? So suppose if I am taking any function which will be ranging in this form, if I will multiplying this term with this value, then 0 into any term will becomes equals to 0. 0 into any term will becomes equals to 0. So up to this part will become 0, and this term multiplying with this term, so it will gives you the part only in this, right? So this particular window will selected, so this term is considered as windowing theorem. So to select a particular window, we will use a windowing theorem. So for that, basically we had done the multiplication of these two sequences. So by using this concept, we will defining this windowing or modulation theorem. So if we will starting from the statement of it, then what will be the statement? Statement will be written like this: if we are taking x1 of n and finding dtft of it, it will convert in terms of x1 of omega, and x2 of n will convert corresponding in terms of dtft. If we are finding, then it will convert in terms of x2 of omega. So windowing theorem means we want to take multiplication of two sequences, right? So I will take multiplication of this 2, and if I am finding dtft of this, it will giving you the answer in terms of convolution of these two terms in terms of frequency domain. So the statement will be like this, and if I am writing its equation of convolution, then it will representing like this: 1 upon 2 pi minus pi to pi. Why I had taken integration range between minus pi to pi? Because the range of omega means angular frequency. It will representing in terms of either 0 to 2 pi or minus pi to pi. So if I will taking minus pi to pi, then this term will convert like this. Then the first term will be as it is in terms of lambda, means x1 of lambda. The second term is folded, means minus lambda, then shifted with omega, and this integration is with respect to lambda. It means I will write over here d lambda. So if we want to prove this property, we will starting the proof with the equation of dtft of x of n. So when we will finding dtft of x of n, its answer is x of omega, and the equation is summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite x of n e raised to minus j omega n, right? Instead of this x of n, we want to find out dtft of this term. So I will write dtft of x1 of n into x2 of n. So instead of this x of n, I will put this term. So over here, instead of x of n, I will take x1 of n multiplying with x2 of n into e raised to minus j omega n will be as it is. Now if we will putting any of this value, either x1 of n or x2 of n, and put in this equation, then we can rearrange it and it will convert in this format. So I will take this x1 of n. So if I want to find out x1 of n, so how we can find out this value? By taking inverse dtft. How? If I am taking x of dtft of x of n, it will convert into x of omega. So if I am taking inverse dtft of this x of omega, it will convert into x of n. So by using this rule, if I am taking inverse dtft of x1 of omega, it will give you the answer as x1 of n. So inverse dtft of this term will be representing like 1 upon 2 pi integration minus pi to pi. This term multiply with e raised to j omega and d omega. Now as you know that if I am putting this value over here, then this term multiply with this term, means e raised to j omega and e raised to minus j omega n will be cancelled out. But actually it is not cancelling, so we have to use dummy variable over here. So instead of this, let lambda will be taken instead of omega. So instead of omega, if we will taking lambda, then this term will convert in terms of 1 upon 2 pi integration minus pi to pi x1 of lambda e raised to j. Instead of this omega, we will put lambda and d lambda. Now if we will putting this value in this equation, then the next step of dtft will be representing like this. dtft of x1 of n into x2 of n. it will be representing as summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite. Instead of this x1 of n, I will put the equation of inverse dtft, which is 1 upon 2 pi integration over minus pi to pi x1 of lambda e raised to j lambda n d lambda. x2 of n will be as it is, e raised to minus j omega n will be as it is. Now what is the rule applied? Summation integration will be there, then we will rearranging the order. 1 upon 2 pi is constant, so it will be outside of this integration summation. Then I will write this integration over minus pi to pi. All the integration parts comes over here. Then I will write summation of n equals to minus infinite to infinite. The term with n will comes over here. Other than this, it will comes over here. So starting with this, in this there is not a single term of n. So it is constant corresponding to this summation. So I will write it over here. x1 of lambda e raised to j lambda n. It contains n. So I will write over here e raised to j lambda n. x2 of n is also containing n, so I will write over here x2 of n. E raised to minus j omega is also containing n, so I will write over here, and d lambda is constant, so I will write over here. So this is the next step. Now I will rearranging this two term and converting this two term in terms of e raised to minus j omega n. Why? Because in the equation of dtft, the term will be in terms of e raised to minus j something. So if I am rearranging this term in this format, then e raised to minus j is common, then this term will representing as omega minus lambda into n, minus plus lambda. x2 of n will remain as it is, summation n equals to minus infinite to infinite is also as it is, and x1 of lambda d lambda is also as it is. So all the other terms will remain as it is. Now as you know that if I am taking e raised to minus j omega n, then it will consider as x of omega, right? But instead of omega, we will use omega minus lambda. So this term will representing x2 of omega minus lambda by using frequency shifting property. So this summation is representing as x2 of omega minus lambda. This term will remain as it is, x1 of lambda, d lambda is also as it is, integration will be as it is, minus pi to pi, and 1 upon 2 pi will be as it is. So from this equation we can say that the first term is as it is, second term is folded, shifted, multiplication, at last integration. So this term representing the convolution of these two sequences. So when we are multiplying two sequences in the time domain, then corresponding in the frequency domain, it's a convolution of two sequences. In the next session, I will explain you about correlation, types of correlation, and based on that we will calculate some examples. Thank you.